Memories are timeless treasures of the heart. Join us as we share weekly obituaries in memoriam reflections and loving tributes. We hope you find solace in the memories shared. In loving memory. Gloria Baker née Johnson. Gwendolyn Eudora Collingworth. Beverly Lorraine Howell Mears. Cynthia Eureka Moore. Cedric Michael Nurse. Mildred Ione Nurse. Anderson Tyrone Phillips. Kwame Ian Reynolds. Shirley Patricia Wraith née Jordan. Come with me. God saw you getting tired, and a cure was not to be, so he put his arms around you and whispered, "Come with me." With tearful eyes we watched you suffer and saw you fade away. Although we loved you dearly, we could not make you stay. A golden heart stopped beating, hard-working hands at rest. God broke our hearts to prove he only takes the very best. It's lonesome here without you. We miss you more each day. Life doesn't seem the same since you've gone away. When days are sad and lonely and everything goes wrong, we seem to hear your whisper, "Cheer up, carry on." Each time we see your picture, you seem to smile and say, "Don't cry, I'm in God's keeping. We'll meet again someday." You never said, "I'm leaving." You never said goodbye. You were gone before we knew it, and only God knew why. A million times we needed you. A million times we cried. If love alone could have saved you, you never would have died. In life we loved you dearly. In death we love you still. In our hearts you hold a place that no one ever will. It broke our hearts to lose you, but you didn't go alone, for part of us went with you the day God took you home. Gloria Baker née Johnson, aged 76 years, late of Graves Road, Ashton Hall, St. Peter, wife of the late Ezra Baker, loving mother of Denise and Wayne Baker and the late Margaret Baker, beloved grandmother of Jamar, Stacia, Shakira and Winter Baker, Shamika Burnett and Kyle Clark, sister of Joan Brooms and Vincent Johnson of Canada, Wilton Davis and 10 others, aunt of Dwayne Johnson, Jackie and Pauline Codrington of Canada, and many others, mother-in-law of Kathy Ann Baker, sister-in-law of Winston Brooms, relative of the Baker, Johnson and Curtin families, friend of Rebecca Reese, Doris Griffith, Aileen Rouse, Wilma King, Yvonne Osborne, the pastor and members of the Wim Wesleyan Church, members of the St. Peter's Operation Intercession Group, and many others. The funeral of the late Gloria Baker née Johnson leaves Earl's Funeral Home on Saturday, September 2nd, 2023, for the Chapel of Mount Pleasant Memorial Gardens, Pleasant Hall, St. Peter, where relatives and friends are asked to meet for the service of Thanksgiving at 10 a.m. The funeral will follow immediately after to the Casuarina Lawns, Mount Pleasant Memorial Gardens for the burial. Live streaming for the funeral may be viewed via watch.earlsfuneralhome.com/Gloria Baker. Sunrise, October 11th, 1944. Sunset, August 6th, 2023. Gwendolyn Eudora Collymore of Lot 8, Newbury Heights, St. George, and formerly of Good Intent, St. George, and the United Kingdom. Daughter of Netta Bostic of Carmichael Land, St. George, and the late Charles Waterman. Wife of Charles Clement Collymore. Mother of Patrick Spencer of Canada, Sonia Spencer, Charles Alexis Collymore, and Samantha Collymore, both of the UK. Stepmother of Chanel Cutting. Sister of James and Wesley Spencer, Charles, David, Andrew, and Alonza Bostic, Marlene, Pauline, Donna, Anthony, and Alan Young, David and Michael Cumberbatch, the late Carmen Spencer and Elise Bostic, aunt of many. Grandmother of Roland Akeem Spencer, Nicole Collymore, Samara Rosen, and Asa Collymore, both of the UK. Mother-in-law of Nina Collymore and Gavin Rosen, both of the UK, and Rhonda Spencer of Canada. Relative of the Jones, Waterman, King, and Spencer families. Friend of Betty Seeley of the USA. The funeral of the late Gwendolyn Eudora Collymore leaves Keith Jones Funeral Home on Thursday, August 31st, 2023, for St. Luke's Anglican Church, Brighton, St. George, where relatives and friends are asked to meet at 3:30 p.m. for a service of thanksgiving, followed by the interment in the churchyard. Live streaming of the funeral service and interment may be viewed via keithjonesfunerals.live/Gwendolyn Collymore. Beverly Lorraine Howell Mears of Hottesall Turning, St. Michael. Beverly was a member of the Barbados Workers' Union, Barbados Domino Association, and participated in many sporting activities at the Central Bank of Barbados. Daughter of Barbara Howell and the late Winston Howell. Mother of Lawrence, Teresa, and Alex. Grandmother of Tyrese, Usher, and Asia. Sister of Sonia, Carolyn, Sharon, Ian, Stephen, Pamela, Christine, and Troy, and the late Andrew. Sister-in-law of Adrian and Betty. Niece of Phil, Ruby, Noreen, and the late Clyde, Frederick, and Junior, aunt of many. Cousin to many. Godmother of many. Adoptive mother of many, too numerous to mention. Friend of many, too numerous to mention. The funeral of Beverly Lorraine Howell Mears leaves Belmont Funeral Home on Thursday, August 31st, 2023 at 8:15 for the St. Matthew's Anglican Church, Jackman, St. Michael, where relatives and friends are asked to meet at 10 a.m. for the service and interment. The service and interment may be viewed via live stream at www.restinpeace.live/Beverly Howell-Mears. Cynthia Eureka Moore, aged 91 years, late of Kingsland Park, Christchurch, and formerly of the UK. Retired nurse. Wife of Lawrence Sona Moore. Mother of Marcia Holder, Dalmain McCollin Holder, deceased, and Dawn Moore Maynard. Grandmother of Lee, David, Darrell, and Katrina, all of the UK. Great-grandmother of Jamili, Rosalind, Rihanna, and Romario. Sister of the late Mildred, Beryl, Douglas, and Mac. Aunt of Maudry, Annette, Ricky, Douglas, David, Ronald, Annette, Debbie Din, and Donna, and the late Linda and Collis. Great aunt of Andrew Lowe, and many others. Mother-in-law of Calvison Maynard, relative of the Holder and Nurse families. Friend of Etha Herwood, deceased. The Callender, Farley, Pigott, Atherley, and Harris families, and many others of the UK, Edlin Lewis, and others. The funeral of Cynthia Eureka Moore leaves Belmont Funeral Home on Thursday, August 31st, 2023, for the Sharon Moravian Church, where relatives and friends are asked to meet at 3 p.m. for the service and interment. Cedric Michael Nurse of Spring Farm, St. Thomas, aged 60 years, son of the late Granville Franklin and Mildred Nurse, father of Javal Merritt, brother of Meldane Nurse and Thelma Carrington, uncle of Kathy and Andrea Nurse, Miranda Mears, and 2 others, great uncle of Christian and Sabrina Blackman, Tiara Salmon, Corey Dolisco, and others, nephew of Percy and Liebert Franklin, cousin of Karen Roach, Caswell Franklin, and others, relative of the Nurse, Stout, Burnett, Thompson, Franklin, and Nichols families, special friend of Corinne Critchlow, friend of Sylvan Springer, Anthony White, Charlie Belgrave, Elson Burrows, and the staff of the Radisson Hotel. The double funeral of the late Cedric Michael Nurse and Mildred Ione Nurse leaves Belmont Funeral Home on Wednesday, August 30th, 2023, for St. Thomas Parish Church, where relatives and friends are asked to meet at 2 p.m. for the service and interment. The service and interment may be viewed via live stream at www.belmontfuneralhome.live/Cedric and Mildred Nurse. Mildred Ione Nurse of Spring Farm, St. Thomas, aged 93 years, daughter of the late James and Eldika Nurse, mother of Meldane Nurse of the USA and the late Cedric Nurse. Grandmother of Kathy and Andrea Nurse, both of the USA, and Javal Merritt. Great-grandmother of Tiara Salmon, Corey Dolisco, Christian and Sabrina Blackman. Great-great-grandmother of 2, sister of Isaline Nurse, aunt of Margarita, David, Nicholas, Peter, Frankie, Yvonne, and others. Great aunt of Cynthia Bryan, Junior and Livingston Nurse, and many others. Relative of the Stout, Burnett, Thompson, Nichols, and Nurse families. Friend of Iville Gill, Abby Grimes, Corinne Critchlow, and many others. The funeral of the late Mildred Ione Nurse leaves Belmont Funeral Home on Wednesday, August 30th, 2023, for St. Thomas Parish Church, where relatives and friends are asked to meet at 2 p.m. for the service and interment. The service and interment may be viewed via live stream at www.belmontfuneralhome.live/Cedric and Mildred Nurse. Anderson Tyrone Phillips, also known as Bunny, of Douglas Road, Weston St. James, entered peacefully into rest at the age of 70. Retired employee of Island Inn and Mango Bay Hotels, son of the late Muriel Eudora Phillips and Oliver Gibbons, father of Tanya and Tamisha Brooms, grandfather of Amya Grisette, brother of Marion Goddard and Calvin Phillips, Granville Phillips and Antoinette Niles, uncle of Ian Phillips, Sirlene Bourne, Wayne, Andrea, Ricardo, Brian Cumberbatch, Sandra Brown, Michael and Andrew Husbands, Charles Benjamin and Tyrone Phillips, great uncle of Antonio Brown, Tricia and Kerry Fagan, Anne-Marie Holder, Dr. Carl Bourne, Shamar Phillips, Claudia, Jessica, Rohan, Allison, Brandon, Bernard and Malik Cumberbatch, Aileen Tobin, Curtis, Letitia, Dominique, and Maya Phillips, companion of Cheryl Jan Johnson, great uncle of 7, uncle-in-law of Franklin Brown, Carl Brown Sr., Carl Bourne Sr., Marlene Cumberbatch, Leah Phillips, brother-in-law of Judy Phillips of the UK. The funeral of the late Anderson Tyrone Phillips leaves Earl's Funeral Home on Saturday, September 2nd, 2023, for the Anne Gill Memorial Methodist Church, Fairfield, Blackrock, St. Michael, where relatives and friends are asked to meet for the service of Thanksgiving at 2 p.m. The funeral will then proceed to the St. James Cemetery for the interment. Kwame Ian Reynolds of Kings Village, Darrells Road, St. Michael, entered peacefully into rest at age 21. Member of the Barbados Golf Association, employee of RDL Eagle Trade Incorporated, alumni of the Lodge School, son of Sidney Williams of Sun Group and Shelley-Ann Rogers of Sagicor Life Inc., stepson of Aidan Rogers of the Barbados Defense Force, grandson of the late Jersine Small, Ian Small Sr., Reynold and Esther Williams, brother of Kyle Howard, Simone, Stephen, Carl, and Carolyn Williams, nephew of Ian and Margaret Small, Gillian and Dale Yard of the USA, Collis and Philip Williams, Faith Hayward, Lyle and Teresa Hoyt, great-nephew of Heather Connell, cousin of Cherise and Anthony Yard of the USA, Ashley, Shaquan and Korea Small, Chad, Ashley, Dylan and Miracle Williams, Dr. Kenneth Connell and Dr. Ramona Rice, godson of Cheryl Wood, Derek Gardier, and Stephen Ashby. The funeral of the late Kwame Ian Reynolds Small leaves Earl's Funeral Home on Monday, August 28, 2023, for the Chapel of Coral Ridge Memorial Gardens, the Ridge Christ Church, where relatives and friends are asked to meet for the service of Thanksgiving and interment at 10 a.m. Live streaming of the funeral may be viewed via watch.earlsfuneralhome.com/Kwame Small. Shirley Patricia Waith, née Jordan. Our beloved sister Shirls of Lot 7, Bridge Terrace, Glenderry Road, Carrington Village, St. Michael, entered into rest on Sunday, August 20th, 2023. Retired owner and operator of Emmanuel Preschool, Crumpton Street, St. Michael. Devoted member of Mount Olive United Holy Church. Daughter of the late Evelyn and Stella Jordan. Wife of the late Lawrence Alban Waith. Mother of Noel Jordan, Deborah Edwards, former worker of Coles Printery, Derek Waith, Select Rentals and member of the Inland Constabulary Barbados Police Service. Adoptive mom of Gina Jordan of Republic Bank. Sister of Ulrich Jordan of London. Marie Himes, Marion Applewaite, Gloria Jordan Best of the USA, Vernon Jordan, the late Neville Jordan of London, Beverly Walcott and Harriet Jordan. Grandmother of Shamar Goodman Waith, Janae Edwards, Joshua St. Hill, Calista Springer and Ciara Waith. Great-grandmother of Shanicia St. Hill. Sister-in-law of Zeta Greenwich, the late Grantley Walcott, Darcy Applewaite and Carl Bess. The funeral of Shirley Patricia Waith leaves Belmont Funeral Home on Saturday, September 2nd, 2023, for Mount Olive United Holy Church of America, where relatives and friends are asked to meet at 10 a.m. for a service and celebration. The cortege will then proceed to the Westbury Cemetery for the interment. The service and burial may be viewed via live stream at www.belmontfuneralhome.live/Shirley Waith. This week we remember Hamilton Seymour Benn, William Monty Denny, Wilhelmina Eversley, Angela Patricia Ann Gorey, Deshawn Ithmar Jamali Howell, Philip Arthur Small, Lionel Williams, and David Alfred Young. One of the greatest comforts in times of sorrow is the expression of sympathy conveyed in many ways. The team at In Loving Memory thanks you on behalf of the families for your expressions of sympathy at this time.